Look at the bubble. Look at the bubble. Can you get that one? Way to go. Good morning, guys. We are on our way for Tessie's 2-year check for the baby study she's in. It's a younger siblings autism study where basically she started it when she was 12 months old, and I think they are actually taking younger babies now. When she entered into the study, the youngest babies were 12 months old, and they do an EEG. It looks at the baby's faces and the reactions the baby has when the baby is watching faces that are speaking words that the baby should be able to understand at this age, and when the baby is looking at faces that are speaking gibberish. And they also do an ADOS and a Mullen, which are autism tests. For those of you who don't know, those are basically like autism evaluation tests. So she'll have another set of autism evaluations and basically like developmental evaluations, and so we'll get all that information, which is really good to have. Oh, okay. 0.4 miles, exit 20A to I-93 South, I-95 Canton.
Okay.
0.3 miles.
You know, I don't think we should go that way.
I think we should listen to Waze.
I don't think we should. Okay, it's not that bad yet. It said we would have hit traffic by now. I think it's cleared up. We also have the express lane too that would bypass the next feature.
Do you know how to get to the place without Waze? You do what you want.
Okay, fine.
Don't listen to your navigator. See what happens.
Last time I listened to my navigator, we took a detour through Connecticut and Rhode Island.
I think the traffic won't be bad, the husband said.
I didn't take into account.
Let's ignore the Waze, the husband said. Let's get in the zipper lane, the husband said.
The what?
The zipper lane.
Okay.
At least it's pretty. Oh, look, we're stopped again. I would speed this up, but I don't want to give anyone the impression that we're going faster than we are.
Yeah. Okay, Peng. Okay. I think that building in the distance will be completed by the time we get there.
I think it might.
Oh, that's good. Jeez. Thank you, baby, for keeping me up to date.
That you knew.
No.
We did this last time.
So? Wow, what a fool.
This guy?
No, the other one. Cut him off.
Oh, I missed that. So we've just about made our way to the Children's Hospital, thanks to the awesome skills of our navigator and our Waze app. Oh my gosh.
Turn right on Pilgrim Road.
Uh-oh, there's people in both of our things.
You've arrived at your destination.
Is there room for us?
Damn right, there's room for us. Forget I'm driving. And I'm awesome.
Yay, we're here, we arrived. 375 Longwood
Baby
Parking
Tessie
Garage.
alert.
So we made it here, and we've met up with the people at the bottom, and we've got our little parking place lanyard, and we're getting Tessie out of the car, well, Paul is, and we're gonna go downstairs and meet them and go over to the lab, and Tessie's gonna get tested. The view from the roof. Here's our tiny Tess. You ready to go, Tess? Oh, with your bagel. Oh, so cute. Oh, take a picture. Look at the bubble. Look at the bubble. Can you get that one? Way to go. Look at you. bright, so I'm gonna keep the sunglasses on. We are on our way back from Boston down to Plymouth, and Tessie had her little EEG and testing for the younger siblings autism study, and she sat with a little EEG cap on for, I think, is it like 3 of the 4 rounds or 4 of the 5 rounds? She did all but the last round, which was good. And then she started to get a little fussy for the last round, and we tried to do it twice and then called it off, which was good. That was totally fine. They basically have you do it for as long as the baby tolerates it. And if the baby starts to get upset, that they get as much as they can and stop, because they don't want the babies to get upset and for it to be traumatic. So they're really, 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 really nice there.
Yeah.
The whole entire time, they start out with like Curious George playing, and I have a little video of that part. While there's Curious George is going on, and they put the little EEG cap on, and they get that on and make sure all of the EEG sensors are working. And to get those working, they squirt, like the ones that aren't working, they'll squirt a little bit of water to make it kind of like connect more to her head, because now she has thicker hair than when she was a baby, so it's a little bit harder to get the EEG cap touching her head. And then after that, they start playing the videos, and the first video this time was like all these bubble looking things that were kind of moving directions, colorful bubbles moving all these directions all over the screen, and she loved that. She was like totally focused on that. And then the second one was a woman against like a black screen, and she was just kind of saying gibberish sounds like ga, ga, ga. And Tessie was super, super interested in that. And they showed like 2 rounds of that, and Tessie was completely silent and staring at the screen for that whole thing. And then they started showing another woman, and she was saying words like ball, cat, ball, and that made Tessie angry. And I think what's supposed to happen is the baby's supposed to be more interested in the words, and that whole time there's an EEG going on, and there's also a computer tracking her eye movement. Yeah, I believe that the babies are supposed to be more interested in the words that they can understand, because like they can understand them, but Tessie obviously got like outraged, a little bit outraged, somewhat outraged the first time she watched through the words she could understand, and then like totally completely outraged the second time and started trying to rip the EEG cap off, and they were like blowing bubbles in front of the screen trying to calm her down and make her happy, and she was like not having it. So then we stopped and went in the other room and did an ADOS, and she was much more interactive this year. And while they were doing that, I answered a questionnaire of the words she knows and what she thinks she can do, and that was pretty quick. And actually the really cool thing there was I had answered that she can't kick a ball, and they brought in a ball and showed her how to kick it, and she kicked it like all around the room, and she really, really enjoyed kicking it all around the room. She was really, really cute kicking it all around the room. And then after that they did the mullen, and she did pretty good on the mullen too, comparatively. One of the things was like they brought in this little puzzle. Part of the mullen is a puzzle for her age range now, is like a puzzle, and it's a simple puzzle that has a circle, a triangle, a cross, and a circle, triangle, cross, and square. And at first she threw the pieces away, and then I held her on my lap, and they handed her the test administrator handed her the circle and said, Tessie, you can have a goldfish when you're done if you put the circle in. And Tessie takes the circle and puts it right in immediately. Same with the triangle, same with the cross. I mean, she can do puzzles, which is what we know from ABA. She can do puzzles like 100% of the time if she's actually motivated to do puzzles. And that was kind of how the mullen went. Like, if she actually focuses on and tries to do something, she can do a lot more than she lets on. Mullen results that were the biggest things were she has really good fine motor skills, still scoring below age range, probably because of interest. I think she scored like 17 months, but that's like strong for her compared to how low she's scoring in other areas. Her receptive language this time was 6 months, I think she said, or 7 months, 6 or 7 months. I'll have to wait till I get the results to know for sure. She said it was either 6 or 7 months, but that's really, really good because her receptive language last time, she said, was basically at 0. I think they wrote that it was at 3 months, but she said basically it was at 0 last time. So that is like in 6 months, it has gone up close to 6 months. So that's really, really good. And her expressive language, which was the other big thing that obviously we're very worried about, was at 13 months this time. So that also has increased a lot. I don't remember exactly what it was last time. I think it might have been like around 6 months last time, but I would have to go back and look at what we got. That went well, and now we are headed back down to see how the other kids have done, and hopefully Paul's parents' house is still standing and Maggie hasn't taken it down to the foundation.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be fine. Home of school teacher Tabitha Plaskett. Decided the first dame school in America.
The first dame school?
Yep, right there.
It's little.
Oh, it was built in 1722.
Interesting. Can you see it? I have this thing really far out, so I don't think you can see it. And it's really bright. That's it, that little white building, folks. Yeah, that's not a board I usually use. Sorry, the strap is like wrapped 20 times around the selfie stick, and it's really bad. The traffic was so bad.
Not speaking bad of the selfie stick, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm speaking badly of the...
Because you better not be.
Stop making fun of my selfie stick.
No one makes fun of the selfie stick.
No one does make fun of... You make fun of the selfie stick.
The hell I do.
You're making fun of the selfie stick right now, sir.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I am offended.
I know when you're mocking me. I know when you're mocking the selfie stick. Now I know where Tessie gets her sound effects from, huh?
Yeah.
Subscribe if you haven't already and hit that like button, and
Slam the bell. Bong.
we will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.